Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the big question in the project management world. What's the deal with the PMBOK guide? You've got the brand new 7th edition, so does that mean the classic 6th edition is, totally irrelevant now? Well, as you're about to find out, the answer is a little more interesting than a simple yes or no.
So yeah, this is the question on everyone's mind, right? PMBOK 6 versus PMBOK 7. Is it just a classic case of out with the old, in with the new? Should you just toss your old copy? The short answer is no. See, they're not really competitors at all. They're actually partners. And figuring out how they fit together, that's the real key to success.
Okay, so to really get this, let's start with the foundation. Let's talk about PMBOK 6 and why it's been the absolute bedrock of project management for so long. This is the how-to.
The easiest way to think about the 6th edition is that it's all about process. It's prescriptive. It's basically a super detailed recipe book for running a project. It tells you exactly what to do, when to do it, and what tools you'll need. The 7th edition, on the other hand, is completely different. It's based on principles. It focuses way more on the why behind what you're doing.
And when I say detailed recipe book, I'm not kidding. The thing is 756 pages long. That's a lot. But it's not just filler. It's packed with super specific, step-by-step guidance for just about any situation you could run into on a project. So this process-based approach is really the heart and soul of the 6th edition. It organizes everything into what it calls 10 knowledge areas, things like scope, schedule, and cost, and 5 process groups. The main goal here is all about the technical execution. It's laser-focused on giving you the exact inputs, tools, and outputs you need to, well, get the thing built. For instance, it gives you these incredibly practical tools, like the work breakdown structure. I mean, how else are you going to tackle a giant, complex project? This is how you break it all down into smaller, bite-sized pieces, the manageable chunks of work. It defines exactly what you need to do. And then, of course, it shows you when to do that work. The 6th edition walks you through creating network diagrams. This is how you visually map out your timeline, see how all the tests connect, and, most importantly, find your critical path. That's that single chain of tasks that determines the absolute minimum time your project will take. Super important stuff. And it gives you powerful techniques like earned value management to answer that all-important question, are we on track? This is a brilliant way to pull your scope, schedule, and cost data all together. It lets you see in a single snapshot if you're actually getting the value you paid for and if you're on time and on budget. So here's the bottom line on the 6th edition. It's that solid foundation of proven, time-tested knowledge. I love this analogy. It's like old wine. It's a classic for a reason. It's been refined over decades, and it's packed with processes that just work. It's still incredibly valuable. Okay, so if that's the foundation, where does the 7th edition come in? Let's talk about the evolution and the shift to focusing on the why. Right away, the first thing that'll jump out at you is the size. Remember the 756 pages of the 6th edition? Well, the 7th is just 274 pages. It's way more streamlined. And that's not because it has less to say, but because it's saying something very different. And this is where we see a huge shift in thinking, a real paradigm shift. The 7th edition moves away from those prescriptive processes and instead gives us a set of 12 guiding principles. So instead of a how-to manual, it's more like a compass. The focus is all on delivering value and achieving real outcomes, not just cranking out outputs. And this change really reflects what projects are like today, right? They're messy, they're fast-paced, and things change constantly. So the new focus is all about being adaptable, embracing agile or hybrid approaches, promoting critical thinking, and really homing in on what makes a team perform well and how to keep stakeholders truly engaged. I think this quote just nails the philosophy behind the 7th edition. It's saying you can't just follow a rulebook. You have to learn by doing. You have to be able to adapt your approach based on what's actually happening on your project. It's about empowering project managers to be thinkers, not just automatons checking off a list. And this is so important to get. The 7th edition is not a replacement for the 6th. I really can't stress that enough.
The best way to see it is as a strategic top layer. It sits right on top of all those foundational processes from the 6th edition and gives you that high-level strategic guidance. Okay, so let's bring it all together. Let's talk about this powerful partnership and why that foundation from the 6th edition is still absolutely non-negotiable, especially if you're learning this stuff. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, especially if you're studying for your PNP exam. You're wondering, do I even need to look at the 6th edition anymore? Let's tackle that head on. And the answer is a big, resounding no. You absolutely still need it. In fact, a deep understanding of the 6th edition plus a good grasp on Agile is pretty much what you need to pass the PMP exam. The processes, the tools, the techniques, all that content is still incredibly relevant. Let's put it this way. The 7th edition gives you the big picture, strategic why. You know, principles like focus on value, be adaptable. But the 6th edition, that gives you the nitty-gritty practical how. How do you actually build a schedule? How do you calculate cost variance? You can't just have one without the other. You need both to be an effective PM. And look, let's just be realistic. Not every project is a wild, unpredictable software build. If you're building something with clear, stable requirements, like a small bridge or a house, where the technology is well understood, that traditional process-heavy approach from the 6th edition is often still the best and most efficient way to go. So the perfect approach is really a two-step process. Step 1, build your foundation. You've got to master the structured processes and tools from the 6th edition to get those hands-on practical skills. Then, step 2, layer on the strategy. You use the principles from the 7th edition to guide your thinking, to help you adapt, and to make sure you're always focused on delivering value. It's an unbeatable combination. The main takeaway here is simple. This is an evolution, not a revolution. It's not about one version fighting the other. PMBOK 6 gives you that proven toolkit of processes, and PMBOK 7 gives you the guiding wisdom on how to be a smart, adaptable leader. So for anyone out there, whether you're just learning or you've been practicing for years, the 6th edition is absolutely invaluable. It builds that strong, practical foundation, the how, that makes the strategic why of the 7th edition so much more powerful. They're partners. So the only question left is, how are you going to use them together?